and welcome to another edition of BoardCheck. Jeremy the Impact York, fresh off the game just last night. Didn't sleep a whole lot, actually. It was a pretty fun game. Not quite the outcome we wanted, but, Gladiators games are always spectacular. Good to meet all you guys that we did. We'll talk about the Gladiators a little bit later. First, I want to talk about the Boston Bruins. I want to go back to a couple games that's happened over the weekend. Of course, last Thursday, they were in Edmonton to face the Oilers. You would have thought Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, maybe Paul Coffey were still playing for him, as our Boston Bruins lost that one 7-4. The good thing is Rask and Khudobin had 29 total saves, and Moore, Krejci, Pasternak, and Marchand all had the goals in that one. Now, moving on to Monday, just a couple days ago. They were up in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. Once again, did not pull out the victory there. A loss as well, 4-2, where Backus and Moore had the goals, and Rask had 26 total saves. Now, they also played just a couple days ago. That would be Tuesday, where they lost at home to Ottawa, the Senators. We didn't do good against Canada. For some reason, we didn't do good against Canada. It happens. But we lost 3-2 on that one, where Krejci and Krug had the long goals for Boston, and Tuukka Rask had 19 total saves. Now, how does this help our playoff chances? Not much. Not much. We're going to have to start winning a lot more, win 2/3 of these games to really be in a good position. I think we're going to at least get the wild card. I would like to get second or third in our division. That would really help, put us in a good spot, and maybe avoid people like the Capitals in the opening round, because I'm not sure how that's going to go. Your upcoming schedule for the Boston Bruins this Thursday, of course, that would be today. They are at home versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is a 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start. Make sure you tune in for that one. I'll be watching. Hopefully you guys will too. Maybe we'll live tweet. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. This Saturday, they will be in New York to take on the Islanders. I guess that's out in Long Island, actually, at the Barclays Center up until they get kicked out. 7 p.m. start on that one. And then next Tuesday, a day before we do our next BoardCheck show, we'll be at home for that one against the Nashville Predators. 7 p.m. puck drop on that one. Make sure you tune into those. They know we're watching. If you can't be there live, do everything you can. Try to support the team. Try to do the best. Let them know we really are behind them. And we want them to make the playoffs, because the Boston Bruins need to win this. Right? It just seems like here lately they've had trouble finishing games. It's not like they played 2 periods and took the third off, although sometimes it seems that way. It's like they're running out of gas. Tuukka Rask has played probably twice too many games that he's had to, because, well, who else is going to play? Every time Khudobin came in, up until recently, he couldn't win a game. No backup goalie could really do that well for Boston, so they had to do something. So Tuukka ended up playing way too many games. I hope he's not too burned out for the playoffs. If he is, he is, but Marchand has been spectacular. You got to look at David Backus has been spectacular. Krug, Pasta, the main guys that are scoring all the time. That's been fantastic. But how long can these things particularly last? Speaking of Brad Marchand, it seems like every other day we hear about between him and Crosby and the rookie wonder up in Toronto, Austin Matthews, between the point battle, between the goal battle. Brad Marchand was actually the first star of the week coming into this week. I guess for last week he was the first star in the NHL. That was really nice. It's really crazy that when he's not tripping people and doing some goofy kind of underhanded things at times, Brad Marchand is a spectacular scorer. Did you hear that, Brad? You're a good scorer. Stop doing stupid things. He's been doing pretty good lately. But God, come on, Brad. We gotta have your leadership. You and Tuukka and the rest of the guys have just gotta rally this team. I know you're tired. It's towards the end of the season, but you got a playoff series to win. I think you guys can win at least a couple series, and then all bets are off anyway, because it's just a war of attrition at that point. But we'll have to see what they're going to do. Hopefully that our Boston Bruins there do a spectacular job. I'm behind you, Brad. I'm behind you, Tuukka. I'm behind you, everybody on this team. I really want you guys to do well. I know all the Gladiator fans want you to do well. And, you know, do it for Boston, do it for Atlanta, do it for everybody. Do it for Boston Nation out there everywhere. Boston, strong. And when we come back from the break, we'll be in period number 2. We're going to talk some Atlanta Gladiators, and then we'll finish up with some NHL news. Right here on BoardCheck. Jeremy the Impact York. We'll see you on the other side of the break. And we're back here for period number 2 on BoardCheck. Jeremy the Impact York. A lot of you guys that were at the games actually know that. It was good to meet you guys. I said it before. Always good. We traded some trivia back and forth. We traded some high fives. Some, unfortunately, they didn't have the onion ring station open. So we had to go for the fries. The fries were really good. I think even the players were kind of guilty of those, wanting some of those fries. Would have gave them to them if they'd asked. But I want to tell you that we're going to start with last Friday's game. That was in Manchester, where they lost 4-1. Neely with the lone goal in that one. On Saturday, they actually won 5-1, where a small handful of people actually scored. I'm going to see if for some reason our stat guy doesn't have that pulled up. I'm going to try to get that pulled up here in the next few minutes. But I want to tell you, hey, Manchester is no joke. So the fact that we were able to defeat them 5-1 is pretty spectacular. Here we go. People that scored. We want to go Eric Neely. Mr. White scored. Oh, captain, my captain. Derek Nesbitt scored. Gasick scored, and Mingoya. That was, that's all our usual suspects. So I'm pretty glad that they all scored there as well. And then the finale for our weekend on Sunday, we lost to the Adirondack Thunder 6-1, where White had the lone score in that one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Ginn and Vladar played in that one. Okay. 39 saves total for the two of them. Do a spectacular job. We'll get into some Ginn and Vladar news just here in a few minutes. A few seconds, really. And then on Wednesday, that would be last night in the Infinite Energy Center. I was there. I know a lot of you guys were there. We lost to the South Carolina Stingrays 5-2, where Murovich and Niclario both had goals in that one, and Dan Vladar ended up with a loss, even though he had a spectacular game. There were times he literally stood on his head and stopped a lot of pucks and was just doing really, really spectacular. So, shout out to Dan Vladar, or Vladar, rather. I call him Darth Vladar. Dan, you're a super guy. Got able to chit-chat with you a little bit between you and Matt Ginn, that was sitting on the end of the bench. Both of you guys are spectacular. Like I said, we'll get into some news with you guys here shortly. Upcoming games for the Bruins, and then I'll get into the Gladiators. Upcoming games. No, I actually talked about that already. It's been a weird week. I'm telling you, I'm going on lack of sleep here. But it's totally worth it. If you haven't been in the Infinite Energy Center, there's only 2 home games left. They're in a couple weeks. I will always remind you of when those games are. But make sure you go to those. Make sure you go to those games for sure. And look for me. Upcoming games for our Atlanta Gladiators. Because they're not just mine. They're not just yours. They're everybody's. This weekend, we are in South Carolina against the Stingrays, both Friday and Saturday night. That is a 7:05 puck drop on both. We got to pay them back. We absolutely got to pay them back for beating us 5-2 at home. And I think we're going to. You know what? So, Stingrays, look out. I know it was maybe one of your brethren that took out the Crocodile Hunter, but you're not going to take out the Gladiators. So, go Glads. Take it to South Carolina. And, I told you guys I had some Dan Vladar news, or Dan Vladar, rather, and Niclario as well. They were called up to the Providence Bruins. We wish them all the best. Maybe we'll see them again down the road, but I hope it's to aid in a playoff run and eventually get called up to the bigger squad, the Boston Bruins. But either way, Dan, you had a pretty solid game last night. You've always played pretty solid for us. And Niclario, you had one of the goals. So, and I actually talked to you right after the game. So, good luck to you, sir. And we'll see you guys on later down the road. And then I also want to tell you that as of last night, we had 2 new players. This was before the call-ups. Colin Sullivan came from the University of Miami in Ohio. We signed him after he had a pretty good collegiate career there. So it's good to have Colin on the staff. Look forward to seeing him. And then Mr. Hickson got brought in from Providence. And he had a solid game. A lot of times this late in the season when you get brought from Providence to Atlanta, sometimes maybe your heart's not in it, your head's not in it. But, Hickson, he brought it. He was super fast up and down the ice. He was very possessive when he had the puck. He had some solid shots. I really thought some of them should have went in. But, at one time last night, we were only down to 2 referees. They come out for the second period, and everybody's standing around, everybody's lined up, everybody's looking around. There's no referees. And then 2 come out. Well, you're supposed to have 3. And it was the head referee that was missing. I don't know. I think he got sick. I hope he is feeling better now at this point. But it was a pretty interesting turn of events. So once we eventually had 3 in the third period as well, the game was kind of out of hand at that point. So wasn't able to pull out the victory, but live to fight another day, right, Glads? And that's going to do it for period number 2. When we come back from the break of period number 3, back from the intermission, we will talk some NHL news, just a couple fun things going on right here on BoardCheck. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Welcome back to BoardCheck, period number 3. Jeremy the Impact York. Obviously, we already talked some Boston Bruins. We're talking some Atlanta Gladiators as well. And then now, of course, we have some NHL-related news notes and tidbits. Now, I know you guys have been watching. A lot of the same games we have because we've been tweeting back and forth about them. Just for one, Connor McDavid, unbelievable. If you guys haven't seen the video, there's one on, I believe, NHL.com where they throw out the long pass to him. It's almost like an alley-oop to like throwing it down court in basketball, pretty much. Not an alley-oop, but he breaks past the defender and does this incredible backhand. This kid is just straight up magic. And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, I want to tell you that Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman Roman Palak has been suspended 2 games for his boarding of Blue Jackets forward Oliver Bjorkstrand. If you didn't see the play, make sure you go see the play because he deserved it on that one. Absolutely deserved it on that one. And I want to get the other one right. There we go. Buffalo defenseman. That would be the Buffalo Sabres, owned by the Pagulas, the same people that own the Buffalo Bills. We need to get different owners in both those places. But Buffalo defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen is suspended 3 games for his interference against Pittsburgh's Jake Guentzel. If you haven't seen that play, make sure you go to NHL.com and check out that one as well. The Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens are going to play in next year's Scotiabank NHL 100 game. It's going to be at Lansdowne Park, December 16th. It's going to, Battle of Canada there. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be the next outdoor game. I think that one's going to be pretty fantastic. Got some friends up there in the Ottawa and Montreal areas. Hopefully you guys go to the games. If you do, maybe we'll have you on to talk about your experience and everything like that. But that should be a fun game. Who knows? Maybe we find our way up there at that point. And then the last thing I wanted to hit on is the goal and point battle has been just fantastic here lately. Obviously there's the usual suspects, Sidney Crosby, who is having another spectacular year. It's really refreshing that somebody who at age 14, 15, 16 was considered the next one is actually kind of living up to the bill. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you're somewhere in between, Sidney Crosby's a great player, and he continues to put up the numbers. Now, the good thing for us, being Boston fans, is that Brad Marchand is neck and neck between the point race with him and I believe Connor McDavid is the other one. Austin Matthews is up there as well. But Crosby and Marchand are trading back and forth between the goal lead, the point lead, and everything else. And when's the last time it was this close? Usually somebody's 4 or 5 ahead at all points. So, kudos to you guys out there who keep just busting rear on everything and doing everything you can. Marchand is pretty much keeping Boston in it. We have all the usual suspects that score, but we got to have that leadership. Marchand, I believe, is that leadership. He's stopped doing goofy things like tripping people, and Sidney Crosby is just, he's surrounded by a lot of great stars, but you still have to make the shot. You want a basketball reference? You can be Malone all day long, but if you don't have Stockton to get you the ball, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's going to do it for us this week. Appreciate you guys tuning in to BoardCheck. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next week. Go Gladiators. Go Bruins. Go Watch Hockey.
Let's get